Anyway, good morning, everybody. A little bit of technical hitch-up as usual, because we are not the expert in this area. But we try to do our best. We try to do our best. If you all can hear us, it's good. Today, I'm the moderator for this session, and replacing Architect Mustafa. He had another important meeting. And let me introduce every one of us this morning before we proceed. As for myself, I'm also technologist Chu Kok Peng, also the champion for the Professional Services Productivity Nexus since 2017. We have here today with us Dato Ricky Tan. He's put his hand up. He will be the main speaker talking about the legal fraternity. His thoughts on using consortiums to make this legal services successfully, not only in Malaysia, but also out of Malaysia. And then the next speaker is Puan Halimah Osman. She is very important. She's a very experienced business consultant. So the session will be organized in this manner. Puan Halimah Osman will speak first, and she will give us an introduction and an overview of this mechanism, this method of using consortiums for being successful in business. So she will take about 10 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes, and give us the general overview. So it's very important. It's something like a scene setting on what's happening. And most of our views are pre-pandemic, because today we like to talk about post-pandemic. As you all know, post-pandemic, the impact is such that everything has changed. How things are done, why they are done in that manner, they all change. Of course, the basis will be on what we have done before. We modify it so that to fit into the new ecosystem. Then after she has set the scene very well, then Dato Ricky will come and share with us his experience on the legal fraternity. Where are the areas that he has been successful? Personally, what he has done to encourage the formation of loose groups. We now call consortiums, but he does it on a loose group basis. And his coverage not only confined to Malaysian legal fraternity, it's also confined, he also includes his other legal counterparts in other countries, ASEAN countries, like in Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar. So now, this whole exercise came about because of the Malaysian Productivity Blueprint that was launched in 2017. And in the blueprint, one of the mandates is for us, after the formation of the professional services nexuses and all the other 8 nexuses, one of the mandate is to how we can use consortium as a way to further enhance and improve the productivity of professional services. So through MPC, we are organizing these 6 webinar sessions, and at the end of the webinar sessions, we will then sit together and come up with a national strategy on how we can use the method of consortium post-pandemic in order that we can not only provide our professional services, high international professional services to our local firms, our government, but also to export these services to other countries that will need our kind of expertise to help them in their process of recovering from the pandemic. So that's the aim that we are going for. So without further ado, I would like to then invite Puan Halimah Osman, our first speaker, to do her scene setting, which I've seen before, which is actually very interesting. Thank you. Please, Puan Halimah, okay. You can take over the floor.
Right. Okay. Thank you, TS Chu, for the introduction, and salam sejahtera and good morning to everybody. Thank you for being with us. This is the second session that I'm setting the scene, so-called. All right. So basically, I would like TS Chu was saying that I will be setting the scene and just giving you an overview what Consortium is all about. Okay, so okay, so basically what you're looking at before that, let me go through why professional service is so important, right? Look at the main economic sector. You look at this, it's part of professional services sector contribute to 56, almost 60% of the GDP, right? And employ about 8.9 million people, right? So that is almost like half of the GDP is service sector, and we are part of it. The professional service are part of it. Okay, next. Okay, in terms of the 9 sectors, wait, let me see. Yeah, okay. All right, the 9 sector which are earmarked as the game changer, these are the 9 priority subsector. If you see professional service in 2018, it is the highest growth, is 6.3%. It's above the targeted of 11 MP, which is 3.9%, right? So that's the reason why professional services are being put so much importance by the government, because we provide at least 60% of the GDP, right? Correct. Okay, for this productivity next, PS professional services nexus, productivity nexus, we are looking at 6 professional service fraternity. They are basically architecture, engineering, legal, accounts, advertising, and business consultancy. But I think now we are also including other services like real estate, other consultancy. So this is just for the professional service. 6 are being taken into consideration, right? And to look at the professional service subsector, you look at it, you can see that the numbers that we are engaging in terms of people is about 300 over 1,000, and value of good gross output is near 6. The growth is 5.6, which is actually compared to other services, we are very good. What's interesting is that in terms of the size, you will see that almost like 90%, 96% are actually small companies, small and medium, employing less than 30%, all right? We look at that, okay? Okay, like TS2 was saying, the mandate was not only from MPB, we also have the mandate to build a consortium based on service sector blueprint. So we have 2 mandates. One is service sector blueprint, one is Malaysia productivity blueprint. So with that, that's why the consortium, the PSPN is really working hard to get this consortium going, right? And MPC will be actually the coordinator, facilitator, and delivery management to coordinate programs for this, to achieve this vision. This is one of the important factors that we are working on, right? Okay, basically, just a fast understanding of what consortium is all about. It's basically an alliance or collaboration. It does not have to be a legal entity. It can be just loose collaboration by MOU or even by understanding. So okay, so it can be a friendly competition between businesses and organization. The principle is actually for consortium is working together in a partnership and share resources. And the end game for consortium is this: spread costs, spread risk, more cloud, cheaper prices, hopefully. And what do we get? We are looking at being adaptive, creative, and resilient to achieve the shared prosperity. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation for everybody. So, okay, right. So I'm going through a very, the different type of consortium available are being used right now. Common type, all right, that are being used. For instance, anchor integrator, what we call a main provider, is basically a subcontractor. So there's a subcontractor having a few companies providing the necessary staff provide to the client. That's the first one that is being used quite common, but they normally call it integrator or subcontracting basis. This is a form of consortium, right? The second structure is a super provider where 2 or 3 companies, here I put 5, it doesn't matter, maybe 2 or 3 companies come up, set up a legal entity. So that is a super provider, and that legal entity will provide services to the client. Okay, that's a one person. So it's tend to be legal entity. Okay, this is not a legal entity. It can be just a loose arrangement with guidelines. Okay, associations or maybe universities tend to use this, where each universities or each associations use a different. They provide direct to the client, but with guidelines. So this is another form.
Nani? Yeah.
They have to have a marketing person. You have guidelines, but you don't.
Tak payahlah pindah kan. So, tapi untuk next time kita pindahkan lah. Dia tak boleh salahkan kita sebab button tu ada kat situ. Kalau button tu tak ada lagi. Okay, itu neuroscience punya hal. Sebab kita tak bincang lagi kan. So dia take note lah Nanti lah. Kalau lulus, tak lulus pun tak apa kan.
It is actually because of a solar system.
Nanti saya ada buat projek ni last year, this year. So kita sebelum kita layan dengan Dato Dato.
Oh, okay.
So dia kata dah lah ini kan dengan Dato Dato, kita kata belum lagi. Kita tak ini sebab projek ni projek next year. So kita hanya berbincang dengan kita punya profesional sajalah dulu.
And they provide.
Dia macam kacau line ni lah, dia line
is under one name. So if you buy a brand with under Malcorp rubber products, then you can be assured of quality because they have provided standard, right? Okay, this company OOH is Big Three Outdoor Advertising and Media. They provide solution. On its own, they would not be able to, but they combine Big Three and Sriwijaya, form a consortium. They on its own, they work on they provide their own company. Independently, they are a different company, but they come together with a consortium OOH and they provide solution to MRT. They got this project for 10 years. So it's another form of consortium. The last one is MPVA. This is also an interesting thing. This is only started like last year. It is they want to create a self-sustaining local beef industry for export and consumption in East Malaysia. Interestingly, it comes, the members are from Japan, China, and also Malaysia. So they were expecting, if it fully operational, revenue to 750 million a year. So it is very much industry driven. Okay, so these are the 4 types of I should say, successful consortium that are already actively working in Malaysia, right? Okay, so basically you see the common denominator basically they have the same objective, they share skill and resources, and they tend to have a single brand. So that is the marketing thing that they're looking at. Right? Okay, so what I'm proposing is just throwing out things to put all the 6 together, multidisciplinary, but it is not a fiction because we are still, like TSQ was saying, we were discussing. So what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this framework, I was looking at sort of umbrella body where PSPN is working on, which have all the other stakeholders and so on, and also all the other six fraternity involved to be a one brand consortium. But within that, you may have, although I put project A, B, C, I like what TSG was saying the last time. It was like micro consortium. So you have like, okay, one micro consortium doing a project engineering, one architecture, one advertising, maybe one which is legal and a mix of everything. You can have multidisciplinary, you know. So it is quite, consortium doesn't mean big, because when people say about consortium, people think, oh, it's big, but not necessary. It's micro consortium, like, it's actually quite good because you're looking at small company and you're agile. Small organization, you're agile and you can actually move smaller with limitations, yes, with guidelines, but you are there, you can be agile and adapt with whatever situation. So that's what I'm proposing, okay? So basically, the way forward, I said, is we have to decide what's our overall objective. We have to be clear in our functions and responsibility. I mean, each member has their own functions. Guidelines are important. Agile and adaptable, so that it doesn't matter whether it's a linear economy, circular economy, but the sustainable economy, we have to work within, even with pandemic. So we have to be, if it is a legal entity, it's very difficult to move. Whereas if we just MOU, we have to be adaptable to the situation, right? And these are three things that are also quite important. We have always review, which I think in Malaysia we lack that. We have something and we don't review things. So we have regular, so we do not know whether we are doing okay or not okay. So, right? Transparency, another important factor. Finally, industry driven. So industry driven is also one of the most consortium that actually are successful, are industry driven, market driven. So we cannot just have a consortium in name but do nothing. Okay, that's basically what I see in a nutshell. The whole consortium issue. It's not an issue. We see a market for it. Okay, because as we mentioned before, that professional services is one of the game changer in the industry. All right. So I pass on to TS Chu for the next speaker. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for a very good introduction to what this game of consortium is all about. So I think that you can ask the question anytime, and then you just key in your question. We'll pick up your question and have a question and answer session at the end after Yuki's presentation. So for the moment, I think my only comment is that I have not met Puan Halimah Osman before, but after listening to her scene setting the second time, see that we more or less have the same perception of how we should go forward and use the PSPN as a multidisciplinary group that can actually manifest itself into forming many micro consortiums, expert groups, which can service the industry. So the details we work on later on. So now I'd like to invite Dato Ricky Tan. Can you please tell your story to us? Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I think Puan Halimah has put the setting correct, that the consortium or crossover between services is essential, in especially professional services. How do we place ourselves, and then what do we do from here? Actually, my session is basically to tell you how does the legal fraternity can work together to join MPC or PSPN, and also what end of the day is what's in it for us. Yeah. Where's the money?
That's right.
Everyone will be asking, where's the money? I mean, but in order to tap into the resources and able to be working with even TS2, able to have call TS2, hey, I got this project, can we work it on? There must be a platform or consortium or a denominator that everyone have to build on. You must have a trust factor. If you have that trust factor, then it's easy for us to deliver our services. What we try to do here is, or rather what I'm trying to do here is to build on the small firms, especially in Malaysia. Small firms in Malaysia is mostly 95% are 5 lawyers and below. Lawyers tend to have the problem with legacy, tend to have the problem with I think even for other professionals, it's the same.
Same.
Yeah, but at least you have a company. But for us, it's still a sole proprietor or partnership, and the human factor is always affecting the growth. So in order to be able to grow, let me go into my slides. Okay, let me share my slides.
Coming on.
Got it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we are trying to do today for the next session, developing and sharing consortium model and guideline to promote the legal services for the legal fraternity. So when I joined MPC, I found out that actually we have these resources, which is how to work with the government to come out the blueprint, and how do we tap on these resources to work cross-border. I get to know a lot of engineers, architects, business consultant, advertising. So how do we share our resources and build on this? Imagine you having an architect advisor in your firm. Having that access or having that will definitely make put yourself in a better advantage than many other law firms. Okay, so now is the right timing, because all the lawyers are forced to stay at home, think about how to work from home. Lawyers tend to always wait and for clients to come, but now I always tell people, we create the market, we build the market. We don't wait for the business to come to your doorstep. It never does. It goes to the bigger firms with bigger networks, or people with better connection, if I may. So now is a good timing because everyone is put on the same level. Everyone is trapped at home, right? So how do you have the access or tap into the markets? If you can service the people around your area by sitting behind the computer, you can always go beyond Malaysia as well. So the starting point is to get to know what MPC is doing and prepare to relearn, to learn new things and think out of the box. What can you do next? So online presence is one of the thing that the lawyers hate most, because computer lawyers tend not to change, or even TS2 have to learn what is Zoom. We all learn because we know that business habit have to change. If we don't change, we can't survive. So what Puan Halimah says, even the lawyers, we must have a common interest across platform and digitization. There's no wrong timing. The time is always right. If you move beyond the comfort of your office, you have to take the first step. It's always the first step. It seems, how do I do it? Is it expensive? When can I recover? These are all the questions that we will try to resolve together. In fact, when I listened to a session by TS2, we will build on the consortium whereby funds will be there to be managed by a neutral body for all the members to try to market ourselves. So the ultimate goal is for us to compete at regional level, regardless of the firm size. Well, imagine this: you have the support of all the other professional service telling you what is the best way to compete at regional level. We can also tap along with all the architects who are beyond Malaysia's, and also business consultants as well. So what I'm proposing is like what Puan Halimah has said, is a B2B consortium model, whereby it's direct business to business. It's basically lawyers or law firm to law firm, or it's not to client direct. One thing about legal services is the trust level that cross country would have. Nobody trusts what the Chinese law is, because we don't know what is the Chinese law. neither do we know what is Indonesian law is all about. Maybe in Singaporean we know a bit because we are from common law country, but when it comes to cross-border, that this trust is always there. And how do we build on this platform is by getting to know the same lawyer or same type of lawyer who is in China or any other country, get to know them and work with them to build this B2B consortium model. So do you have to just work with one law firm or one lawyer? No, not necessary. You can build on a bigger platform. So we have looked at 4 types of area that we can always work with, like the lawyers, the law firms, or alternative legal services providers. They are non-lawyers as well in the market. For instance, maybe setting up of companies is slightly company law legal related, or audit, or advertising, or business consultant. This is where you can work on with the other consultants or professional service in expanding your services. For instance, I just share with my panelists, we had a job which has nothing to do with Malaysia. The Chinese client wanted us to handle the matter, to incorporate a company in Singapore and to set up a factory in Indonesia. So we say, why do you look for us? Why don't you just go direct to Singapore and Indonesia? But they wanted us to handle the whole thing, like what Juan Halima said it correctly. We have the upper hand. We understand the regional factors, or we understand, or we know the people in Singapore and Indonesia better than the Chinese counterpart. The trust level is there. They don't mind paying extra to engage another strategist, if I may, to help them in setting up. But the confidence level is there. They know that with this kind of setup, their investment, almost 200 million US dollars investment in Indonesia, will be properly taken care of. So apart from that, lawyers also need to work beyond their normal court work or conveyancing. There are other ways like arbitration, mediation, or legal training, or academies or universities. We have to tap into this non-traditional field, which is, I still prefer a little bit law related. I cannot venture into accountancy, but I can look into tax audit law or income tax law, but I can't be doing the proper accounting per se. But I can work with these consultants to do or manage what we can deliver to the client directly with added value. So these are the things that we need to equip ourselves with. Of course, there are some lawyers who say, why should I learn new things? You know, I'm fine. I just do litigation. I just do a bit of things. This is where you get stuck. For 10 years, for 5 years in the beginning of your practice, it seems like, wow, it's fine. The money is there. You're making bread and butter. But as you go old, you find that more and more people are doing the same thing, or more and more people are trying to engage in the same field of work that you are doing. So you need to expand your different ways of doing things and able to provide alternative services. And of course, participation in law association, chambers of commerce, these are vital to not just to market yourself, but also to get the intelligence, the intel. Where is the business is? If you want to know where the business is or where is the market is, you need to have a touch base with the business people, the client. This is a very real factor. So in a short, these are 4 areas where we should be expose ourselves through to market ourselves. yeah, law firm, lawyers, NGO, I call it NGO or business chamber. Academic is university and training. But some people will say, why? I'm a practicing lawyer. Why should I go to university or training, or I should be training the people? So I will explain later why academic is also one very important area that the law firms or the legal fraternity has forgotten about. Well, the other is the industry-based people. Okay, so what we need to do is to create a new proposition to promote legal service. It used to be conveyancing or litigation, and that's it. You limit yourself to say that this is all I can do. But when you open yourself to a market and also yourself to different area, you are able to do much more than that, which would also lead to legal work. For instance, setting up a company, some people will say, oh, nothing to do, you just pass to the company secretary, then they will make the money and I don't make any. But when you advise the client on the setting up and strategy on what to do, for instance, transfer of money from China to Singapore. Well, apart from setting up a company per se, how about the legal documents involved, or the the tax implication involved, or the bank charges involved? So these are the additional or not so legal services that we have to work within the consortium to provide this kind of services to the client. Then the client will have more confidence in the setup. Well, some people say, "Oh, it's easier said than done. It's you make it sound so easy." And we are a small firm. We are not able to do it because there are a lot of limitations. This is where you have to join. I'm selling the consortium. This is where you have to join the consortium, and you have to get all your friends to join us, so that we can tell you where are the business opportunity, what you should do. And most important, what funds or encouragement or endorsement that the consortium can able to get for you to make yourself as good as the big firms. Okay, the framework of a B2B legal consortium. Of course, there's a market, there's a guide, explore, and exchange. But most of all, Puan Halimah has put it through correct as well. It's also a loose experiment of human-to-human relationship. You have to share your experience, and you have to gain more experience from the other side as well. You cannot just say, well, give me the job, sign the retainer, pay me, and I'll do the work. Stop asking me. I won't tell you what is the trade secret. It's professional services no longer is like that. We have a client from China, small matter, is about a accident suffered by the employee. The employer is in Malaysia, so he wants to weigh his option, whether to sue or not to sue, and how much is it, and that kind of thing. But when we do that, we don't look at, well, it's maybe $50,000 claim and then the legal fees. We don't look at that. What we do is we want to empower our B2B partner in China. We gave them the whole set of what is the law in Malaysia on accident claim. What can they claim? The whole set of advice we give them, so that we can ask, please tell your client that this is the position, and this is, so they are able to advise or tell them what to be expected. So some sort like there is a technology transfer of skills or informations towards through them, working with the legal the partner in China. Why do we want to do that? Because we want to empower them so they look good in the market in that area, and we become our spokesman and agent. They market for us. We supply them with the skill. They market for us, and forever they will be my marketing agent. So this is where the legal consortium will come out. And all the members will have to find their own partners through the consortium and build based on this kind of guideline. So we identify the market, we have the guide, and we have to explore. And there will have to be an exchange of skills and information. It's no longer, of course, we do within our limits. Definitely, we are not going to prepare the whole works, but at least sufficient in our standards that they are able to deliver the experience or confidence to that particular client. Who knows, that client will refer another big job to us. In fact, through our experience, it did. We didn't know, but sometimes we help small matter, but it leads on to, it roll up to a bigger matter. So these are the things that we have to experiment. We have to try new things in order to achieve a greater market. So these when I say that we have done it, it's not a fiction. We have actually done it. We have brought lawyers from different legal firms to China, and most of them has been appointed as advisor to help to give day-to-day advice or from time to time. We also deliver lectures to Chinese judiciary, police, notary, and procuratorate, or so-called the Chinese AG. Why do we want to do that? Why do we want to waste our time? Some lawyers would think, why do you want to waste your time to go and teach and whatnot? So actually, when we do this, I always tell our members who go to China with us that you're actually building a Malaysian brand. You're building the Malaysian legal service brand. We are telling the Chinese market what are we able to do and what we are. So this will be a new approach and a brand endorsement, and we need to hit the market. I think what Halimah on TS2 has said correctly. This effort by MPC is market driven. Market driven means no politicking, no bureaucracy, no nothing. Just look for the market and how to make money. That's why it's market driven. So we want to invite people who think alike, who wants to is prepared to sharpen their skills, who are prepared to relearn, right? To use different types of ways to deliver the legal services. Last time we used to have pencils. Now we have stylus. So we want to invite people who have new thinking. It doesn't matter whether you're old or young or whatever. As long as you have the intention to go abroad and prepare to relearn and prepare to share, then you can join the consortium to share the common platform. Okay, and this is another area what we have done. We have done a lawyer exchange in Guangdong, where there has been about 40 over lawyers from China, Malaysia, and Singapore. They gathered together and they had almost 2 weeks of exchange, whereby they are able to talk about how does it what is the problem they face setting up a company in Malaysia, what's the problem they face setting up a company in China, and how do they do it. The sharing of intelligence this over 2 weeks is incredible. And on top of that, it builds on the trust among the service providers. So now in the photo on the left, you can see a Singapore lawyer, a Malaysian lawyer, and a Chinese lawyer. So 3 of them will be the new alliance, so-called, or the new consortium. They would be, and the Singapore lawyer, being an Indian, he was so fascinated. He thought that he could not connect or could not even talk to the Chinese lawyer because of language. But when he was there, and I met with him in Guangdong, he found it incredible. He said the experience is totally out of what he expected. And he's a criminal lawyer. And he told me, to be frank, he said, he don't know what can he do. In Singapore, it's so small. It's just like Malaysia, it's a boutique law firm, and he does just purely criminal. But I share with him, I'm sure there are some foreigners who have some problem or criminal charges in Singapore. All their companies could have faced some penalties. So these are things that you can think of expanding, not just on drug charges or whatever the normal cases that you handle. So I said, you have worked with this Chinese lawyer to say that you are a specialist, a boutique criminal lawyer. So this Chinese lawyer will then market among the corporates in China. Don't worry, if you have any criminal cases, we have someone there in Singapore, a boutique law firm whom they have met, whom they confirm is a lawyer. So this is how the consortium will work. It's very loose, but with guide. Guide means there is sitting down, finding a way to work together, and of course there's a mentor. Mentor can be a neutral body, or could be a group of people, or could be NPC guiding them what to do next. So on the right, you can see a group of student exchange program. This is a part of our long-term strategies to implant a lot of marketing agents for us. What we do is we send law graduates to Chinese law firm who have been internship in Chinese law firm for a month. So these students will be the ambassador for the Chinese law firm. And it works vice versa. For the Chinese students who comes to Malaysia and interns in your firm, they will be your ambassador in the future in the Chinese market. This is how it works in the long run. And you don't have to take a lot. You can take 1 or 2, and it helps you in the long run. So in order to do new things, you have to be aware of new training and awareness. You have to prepare your digital profile and presence. Basically, you have to learn how to use WeChat, LinkedIn, Kakao, Telegram. So all these email is no longer the norm. I mean, we were talking about fax machine. Fax machine was used to be one of, now the fax machine that now we talk about is not the one that you print out, it's the one that you use on handphone. So all these, you have to prepare yourself now. How do you communicate? You have to know. And of course, with the US recent trade sanction, they want to take away TikTok and WeChat. So you have to learn about how new way to communicate with client in China. Is it Zoom or is it another way? So all these you have to prepare to learn and prepare yourself on digital profile and presence. This is where MPC or the consortium will come in as well. I was talking to TS Chu just now. Maybe we can engage our advertising professionals to come in, help to brand up the lawyers or the profile. Otherwise, it's going to be very dull with ABCs and one ugly photo of the lawyers with a lot of mustache and whatnot. So how do we make that profile, the bearded lawyer, more professionals and build the confidence when people look at the profile. So these we will have to work with advertising and also even business consultants, where what's the best way to sell yourself. Yes, you are one-man show. There's only one person in the firm. You are working from home. So what? You can able to speak at least more than 3 languages. This is one thing Malaysian lawyer has to be proud of. We are able to speak more than 2 languages, Bahasa, Malay, and another 3rd language. This is what the businesses look for, the understanding, because we are in ASEAN, we are able to understand our ASEAN counterpart. We are able to understand our Indian friends, our Chinese friends, our Malay friends. So these are the added advantage that we need to prepare ourselves and put forward as the selling point. Boutique means fast, dedicated service, okay, personal service. So these are things